You ever notice how common sense used to be? Well, common? Somewhere between the invention of Wi-Fi passwords and TikTok dance challenges. That simple ability to think, reason, and not walk into traffic disappeared. It's extinct, like dinosaurs, cassette tapes, and politicians with integrity. Common sense used to be the glue that held society together. Now it's the joke that keeps it falling apart. You've got people microwaving metal, believing everything they see on social media, and thinking influencer is a career. You know what's influencing them? Stupidity. We live in a time where people need warning labels that say, "Do not eat detergent." That's not a safety notice. That's natural selection trying to do its job. And schools? Oh, they don't teach thinking anymore. They teach memorization, repetition, and obedience. Ask a kid today how to change a tire, and they'll Google a tire-changing app. Ask them to think critically, and they'll ask, "Is that on the test?" Society doesn't raise thinkers anymore. It raises consumers. People who know what to buy, not why they're buying it. We've traded wisdom for Wi-Fi, logic for likes, and empathy for emojis. Everyone's got a platform now, but no one's got perspective. We confuse being loud with being right and being offended with being intelligent. The result? A world full of people who can post their opinions instantly, but can't back them up with a single rational thought. Common sense hasn't just gone missing. It's been murdered, buried under a pile of hashtags, fake news, and participation trophies. And you know what's worse? No one even noticed. Everyone's too busy arguing about nonsense, scrolling through nonsense, and proudly defending their nonsense. If aliens ever show up, they won't invade. They'll take one look at us and say, "Oh, no thanks, these people don't even know how to use a four-way stop." People today mistake access to information for understanding, and that's where the downfall of common sense truly began. Once upon a time, people had to think for themselves because information was hard to find. You had to read a book, ask questions, talk to people, use your brain. Now all you have to do is type a few words into a search bar and suddenly you're an e-researcher. Everyone's a genius because they have Google. But the truth is, having access to information doesn't mean you understand any of it. It's like giving a chimpanzee a smartphone. Sure, it can swipe left and right, but it still doesn't know what Wi-Fi is. That's what we've become. Civilization of digital chimps clicking, scrolling, and pretending it's thinking. Common sense used to be the filter that separated what made sense from what didn't. Now people don't even have filters. They just believe whatever headline gives them the biggest emotional rush. Somebody posts a meme with bold letters and a dramatic picture, and suddenly it's a fact. The New World Order isn't run by politicians or billionaires. It's run by people who can make something sound convincing for 15 seconds. The tragedy is that nobody takes the time to check, to reason, to think. Why bother when the internet gives you instant gratification and the illusion of intelligence? We've built a culture where being informed doesn't mean understanding. It just means having read a few tweets. You ask someone what they think about an issue, and they'll repeat what they heard on a podcast 3 days ago. You challenge them on it and they panic. People can't argue anymore because they never actually learned how to think. They just repeat slogans. They don't know why they believe what they believe. They just know it sounds right and everyone else in their echo chamber agrees with them. It's intellectual karaoke. Everyone's singing the same song, but nobody wrote the lyrics. This confusion between knowledge and wisdom has become so normal that questioning it makes you look like the crazy one. If you stop and say, "Hey, that doesn't make sense," people treat you like you're rude or arrogant. Society doesn't want you to think, it wants you to fit in. And fitting in means agreeing with the majority, even when the majority has no idea what's going on. We've replaced logic with emotional validation. If it feels good, it must be true. If it sounds mean, it must be false. That's how far we've fallen. Look at the way people talk now. Every conversation is a competition to sound smarter, not to understand better. Someone quotes a study they didn't read. Another person references a statistic from a video they barely watched, and somehow everyone walks away feeling educated. But when you strip away all the noise, there's no original thought left. We've created a society where everyone wants to look intelligent, but no one wants to do the work that intelligence requires. And here's the kicker. People aren't embarrassed about ignorance anymore. In fact, they wear it proudly. They'll shout their uninformed opinions into the void of the internet, and then get offended when someone corrects them. In the past, being wrong was something you learned from. Now, it's something you defend like a religion. We've made stupidity a virtue and curiosity a threat. People don't want truth. They want validation. And as long as they can find someone online who agrees with them, they think they're right. So now we live in a world where information is everywhere, but understanding is extinct. We have billions of people with smartphones all connected, all talking, all sure they're right. And yet nobody seems to know what the hell is going on. The more we know, the less we understand. We've confused having data with having depth and having facts with having sense. Common sense didn't disappear overnight. It slowly drowned in a flood of useless information and blind confidence. We're not short on knowledge, we're short on wisdom. And no search engine can fix that. Technology was supposed to make people smarter, but instead it just gave stupidity a megaphone. The internet opened the door for everyone to have a voice. A beautiful idea in theory, but in practice it turned into a circus of noise. Now every opinion, no matter how ridiculous, has a platform. People don't need to know anything to speak. They just need Wi-Fi and the nerve to hit a post. Once upon a time, stupidity stayed local. You had to deal with one or two fools on your street. Now they're global, connected and commenting on everything. Technology didn't amplify intelligence. It amplified ignorance with better lighting and higher resolution. Social media turned the world into a marketplace for nonsense. The loudest people get the most attention, not the smartest. The more outrageous you are, the more clicks you get. And clicks mean money, so stupidity became profitable. Outrage became entertainment, misinformation became marketing, and confusion became a business model. We've built algorithms that reward outrage and punish reason. If you're calm, thoughtful, or logical, you disappear into the background. But if you yell something stupid with confidence, congratulations, you've gone viral. Technology was supposed to make communication easier, but instead it made understanding harder. Everyone's talking, but nobody's listening. People scroll past real ideas because they don't fit into a 10-second video or a meme. Complex thought doesn't trend. Common sense doesn't sell. It's too quiet, too slow, too inconvenient. The world moves at the speed of stupidity now. People don't read, they react. They don't analyze, they assume. Every online argument is just two egos shouting emojis at each other. And let's not forget the illusion of knowledge. The internet made everyone feel like an expert on everything. Someone reads half an article, watches a video, and suddenly they think they know more than professionals. We've raised a generation that believes knowing where to find information is the same as understanding it. But Google doesn't make you smart. It just makes you confident. And when you give confidence to people without critical thinking, you get chaos. People with half-truths and full opinions shouting at each other through screens convinced they're right because an algorithm showed them someone who agrees. Technology also replaced genuine learning with dopamine addiction. Every notification, every like, every comment gives people a quick hit of validation. It's not about truth anymore. It's about attention. People don't post to share ideas, they post to be seen. The goal isn't to think, it's to trend. The result is a society of overstimulated, underinformed individuals chasing digital approval instead of real understanding. The saddest part is that technology had the potential to unite people through knowledge, but instead it divided them through ignorance. We have the most powerful tools in history at our fingertips, yet we use them to argue about conspiracy theories and celebrity gossip. The internet could have been a library, but we turned it into a shouting match. We could have used it to share wisdom, but we used it to share selfies. We created machines that can learn, but people stopped trying to. So now we're surrounded by screens connected to everyone and understanding no one. Technology didn't make people wise. It just made their stupidity easier to broadcast. The more connected we get, the less we comprehend. We build a world where everyone can speak, but nobody can think. Common sense is dying because thinking has become optional. People don't want to think anymore. It takes effort, and effort is outdated. Why use your brain when you can just copy someone else's opinion? Society doesn't reward independent thought. It rewards agreement. The moment you question the herd, you're labeled difficult, negative, or problematic. Thinking critically used to be a virtue. Now it's an inconvenience. We built a world where people are trained to follow instructions, not ideas. They memorize, repeat, and obey. That's the new normal. Every system around us, education, media, government, is designed to keep people from thinking too much. Schools teach children what to think, not how to think. They memorize dates, formulas, and slogans, but never learn to question why things are the way they are. Then those same kids grow up and become adults who believe everything they see on TV or online. The cycle continues. Obedient workers, passive consumers, loyal voters. Nobody asks questions because questions slow things down, and the system doesn't want that. It runs on routine, not reflection. Thinking is uncomfortable. It forces you to face uncertainty, to admit that maybe you don't know everything. Most people can't handle that, so they cling to whatever belief makes them feel safe. Religion, politics, brands, identity, they use these like comfort blankets. Once they pick a side, they stop thinking altogether. They just defend it, no matter how wrong it is. It's not about truth anymore. It's about loyalty. That's why debates don't exist anymore. Just shouting contests between people who've already decided they're right. Nobody listens. They just wait for their turn to talk. And the media, it feeds the fire. Instead of encouraging thought, it sells emotions. Outrage, fear, pride, tribalism. Those keep people watching. Thinking doesn't. A thoughtful person might change the channel or worse, turn it off. So the media gives people what they crave. Validation. You don't have to think when everything you see agrees with you. Algorithms learn your opinions and feed them back to you like a mirror that only reflects your own biases. You think you're learning, but really you're just marinating in your own ignorance. The irony is that people believe they're more independent than ever. They say things like, I do my own research, when what they really mean is I found a video that agrees with me. Thinking for yourself doesn't mean rejecting everything. It means questioning everything, including your own beliefs. But that's too much work for most people. They want certainty, simplicity, and slogans. The world is complicated, but they want it explained in 15 seconds or less. Common sense can't survive in a world that avoids thinking. It's like trying to grow a tree in concrete. There's no soil left for it to take root. Every generation seems to lose a little more curiosity, a little more skepticism, a little more courage to think differently. People would rather fit in than figure things out, so they let others do the thinking for them. Politicians, influencers, algorithms, corporations, and then wonder why life feels empty and confusing. Thinking is optional now, and most people have opted out. They follow trends instead of truths, emotion instead of evidence, and comfort instead of clarity. Common sense didn't just die. It was abandoned. And the worst part, nobody even noticed, because noticing would have required thinking. So here we are, a planet full of people surrounded by more knowledge than ever, yet starving for wisdom. Common sense didn't vanish overnight. It slowly eroded as convenience replaced curiosity. Noise replaced truth, and ego replaced understanding. We built machines that can think faster than us, but forgot how to think for ourselves. The tragedy isn't that common sense went extinct. It's that nobody cared enough to save it. People are too distracted, too comfortable, too entertained to notice the decay of their own minds. We scroll, we react. We perform intelligence instead of practicing it. The result is a society that's louder, dumber, and prouder than ever. But there's still hope, because common sense isn't something you download, it's something you remember. It's the quiet voice in your head that says, wait a minute, does this actually make sense? And if enough people start listening to that voice again, maybe, just maybe, humanity can crawl out of the digital fog and rediscover the simple art of thinking before speaking, learning before shouting, and understanding before judging. Until then, we'll keep mistaking noise for knowledge, and wondering why the world feels so stupid.